know, we just want to offer our condolences and our prayers to the people of Tree of Life. Our hearts break. Our prayers go out to the people of Squirrel Hill.
May I echo your thoughts, sir, because it was a tough day for all concerned.
Representing our organization and saying that our hearts go out to the victims of yesterday's shooting and just the Squirrel Hill community and the community of Pittsburgh at large. I'm a member of the Squirrel Hill community personally. You know, words cannot express how we feel as members of this community.
Thoughts, love, and prayers go to all the victims of yesterday's senseless shooting at Squirrel Hill, especially from me and my family to Michelle. We love you, Michelle, and we're thinking about you.
At this time, please stand and join in a moment of silence for the victims, their families, and all of those involved.
And it was a somber day in the city of Pittsburgh yesterday as the Cleveland Browns came to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. As you saw, a lot of emotions prior to the game, during the game, and even after. But as coach and the players said, rallying around those affected by the senseless shooting in Squirrel Hill, Pittsburgh is stronger than hate. As the players and coaches had to deal with turning to football yesterday, we will do so here today on the program. Joining me now is Bob Labriola and Tunch to talk about the win over the Browns.
Yeah, Missy, it was quite an emotional day, weekend, and it's still kind of continuing on. It's, you know, Squirrel Hill. I went to high school in Oakland there, right near Squirrel Hill. A lot of friends in Squirrel Hill. We eat a lot of pizza in Squirrel.
We had many of those, yeah.
And there's just a lot of places there that, you know, they've been there since I was a kid. And it's a tight-knit community. It's an old school community. And I don't know, you just never think that that kind of stuff can impact you, but then it does, and it's painful.
You know, it was so heart-wrenching, you know, obviously starting Saturday and then coming to Heinz Field on Sunday morning. I just couldn't focus on football. I just, you know, just kept thinking about the people and that were affected, and you know, we grieve with those who grieve, and we mourn with those who mourn, and just continually praying for the people that lost loved ones and friends. And it was just tough, and you know, once again, you know, we just keep praying for those people and praying for the Jewish community, and just you know, we love you guys, and we're just going to continue to lift you up in prayer.
All right, larger than football, as we said, but we will talk about the Steelers' win. I don't want to say a much-needed win, guys, but it keeps them in first place in the AFC North Division, which is important. And for the Browns, the exact opposite. We were just getting the news throughout this afternoon that they have fired their head coach and also relieved Todd Haley of his offensive coordinator duties.
Yeah, the stat that I saw on Twitter is somewhat amazing, but you know, as soon as I saw it, it really hit home because, you know, we've shared the experience here in Pittsburgh. Each of the last 6 Browns coaches have been fired following the season's second game against the Steelers.
Wow.
And, you know, I remember some of those, you know, regular season finale games where the Steelers would be out to a big lead, and all of a sudden you'd hear some commotion down in the part of the press box where the Cleveland media was, and you'd have a lot of friends naturally in the cities that you play twice a year, and you're talking to some of those guys. You know, what's going on? There's nothing. You guys are just going home. The season's over. Oh no, we hear they're going to fire the coach. There was one other time. It was at Heinz Field, and Phil Savage was down there, and he and Kevin Colbert were walking in to the stadium together, and Phil Savage got a phone call on his cell phone, and he stepped aside to take the call, and Kevin said to him, "I'll see you upstairs." He never made it upstairs. I mean, that was the call. You're fired. They fired him as he was walking into Heinz Field when he was the general manager. So, I mean, the Browns are the Browns, and they continue to do Browns things. And
was it a rumor that Bob Chudzinski didn't go home with the team
I remember
he got fired. Did I hear
remember that too.
Yeah.
And that was one of those ones that I just described that situation. The buzz started in the press box shortly after the fourth quarter started. The Steelers were winning 31-6 or something, and you could look down and Chudzinski was on the sideline. He had his headset on, and the entire Cleveland media is gathering the information for the story about his firing. I don't know a whole lot about things, but I'm pretty sure that's not the way you want to run an NFL franchise.
All right, enough about the Browns. Let's talk about the Steelers and Labs. I don't want to give Tunch too much credit, but he did hammer home the point during pregame yesterday, was that running the ball, getting a lot out of James Conner, which is exactly what we saw was going to be the key for the Steelers offense.
Yeah, I'm not going to take any credit for that. I mean, those guys should take the credit for that. The offensive line should take the credit for that. James Conner should take the credit for that. I mean, they ran a ton of traps. There was a trap right there with Ramon Foster leading the way, and we're going to draw 3 of them up. And what's great about the trapping game that the Steelers have been running is you can run it against any defensive front. If you jump into a bear, you can run it against it. If it's a stack 4-3, you can run it again. If it's a 4-3 shade, you can run it against every defense that they line up against you. And that's what the Steelers did, and that's why they were so effective. And the offensive linemen, they were kept driving. There's another trap. David DeCastro kicks out Myles Garrett. And, I love the way James Conner runs. He runs with such intensity, and he can make you miss, but he can run over you. He can run away from you. And, this young man is a joy to watch. I heard a quote by Al Villanueva. He said, the way he runs inspires us. And when you've got a running back that's inspiring your offensive line, that means your offensive line is working that much harder to make their blocks, and now you really got something going with your running game.
We all know the Steelers are an NFL franchise that long has believed in running the football. A couple running backs, 3 running backs actually, in the Hall of Fame. And one stat really stood out to me. James Conner yesterday became the first running back in franchise history to post 2 touchdowns rushing in 3 straight games. So you think about John Henry Johnson and Franco Harris and Jerome Bettis, all those Hall of Famers, Willie Parker, some of the other guys, great running backs, and leading this team to Super Bowl championships, etc. I mean, this is a guy now who has done something that no other running back in Steelers history has done.
All right, on the flip side with the Steelers defense, we have heard them say over the past 2 wins that they wanted to keep getting pressure on the quarterback, and while maybe the number in the sack column wasn't as glamorous as it was week 1 against Cleveland, they were getting the pressure, they were getting to Baker Mayfield. Yeah,
I love the way the game that Butsy called. Second and long, third and long, he was always blitzing, whether it was Vince Williams, whether it was John Bostic, whether it was the outside guys, you could tell that Baker Mayfield was confused. He was constantly scrambling. The pocket would break down again. Look at how Vince Williams, John Bostic, man, they were running over their running backs. Their running backs, whether it was Nick Chubb or Duke Johnson, man, they did a great job of collapsing the pocket. The outside guys did a great job of collapsing Desmond Harrison, and our good buddy Chris Hubbard. Their tackles did not do well against our outside linebackers, and the inside guys, which was their strength, J.C. Treader and Zeitler and Bitonio, those guys were collapsed, and you got to give Stephon Tuitt. You got to give Cam Hayward credit. They did a great job. And Javon Hargrave when he was in, Tyson Alualu, they collapsed the pocket. When you collapse the pocket, a guy like Baker Mayfield, he's got nowhere to go. Even though he's a scrambler, he's still got nowhere to go.
Hi, Debbie Downer here. They did not do a good job of keeping him in the pocket, though. Yep. He escaped too much. They have to be better at that. That's something that hurt them with Tyrod Taylor in the opener, and I know we're done with the Browns. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I mean, and I think hopefully you want to see him again. And so the one thing about the Steelers pass rush, everything you said about it was true. They were penetrating both from the inside and the outside, but I don't know if it was the integrity of the rush lanes or whatever it was, but too much of that was breaking down and he was getting outside the pocket. Now, the coverage was good and he wasn't necessarily able to make plays, but when you let a quarterback like that do that as often as he was doing it, you know, you're really rolling the dice, and I would like to see that cleaned up a little.
You know what I want to see is them tackle him. That's what it was. It wasn't
right.
like they got out of their rush lanes and he had. You know, one of the things that you notice about Baker Mayfield, and you know he's got a lot. You know, a lot of quarterback coaches have these escape drills, and it's you see the gyrations with the upper body. He's trying to give you a pump fake. He's trying to get guys off their shoulder. He does a really good job of that. But one of the things that when he scrambles to his left, he can't throw. When he scrambles to his right, he throws pretty well, especially when he's got a receiver matching him stride for stride, heading out to the sidelines. And there were times when the pocket collapsed, but they didn't bring him down. That's what I think a lot of those guys are going, man.
Isn't that the same thing as escaping?
Yeah, but you said it. You said something about the rush lanes. It wasn't like the integrity of the pocket was not there. It was the
nitpicking.
He
could
just
say it's okay.
Yeah,
you could say I was right.
Well, this is not agree to disagree. So
like
we are going to
Pursuta.
take a quick break. Much more to talk about, some odds and ends when we return on Steelers Live. All right, much more to talk about on the Steelers win over the Browns on Sunday at Heinz Field. Tunch, let's talk about the free kick after the safety. Take me through this play. What went wrong?
You know, I think the first thing that went wrong, Missy, is when Rosie threw up the fair catch signal, and then he bailed on it. I mean, he just decided to stop. And then at that moment, Ryan Switzer, I think he thought it was a punt and not a free kick, and he just froze. And you know, those guys didn't. It's not that I don't think they knew the rule. I think they got caught by surprise at the free kick. And so when he let it go, you know what it reminded me of? Barry Foster in San Francisco. Yeah, right. In San Francisco in 1990, Barry Foster let a kickoff drop, and they recovered it for a touchdown. But that was just miscommunication. I got it, you take it, and nobody came up with the ball. And then Ryan Switzer just like froze, and it's like, oh, I don't want to touch it. Oh, but it's a free kick.
Yeah, the thing about a free kick after safety, the team kicking can elect to either use the punter or their kickoff guy. And I think that's what confused Ryan Switzer, Antonio Brown, whoever else was back there. Because they used the punter, they thought it was like a punt.
Right.
But actually, it doesn't matter how the team is kicking the ball. It's treated as a free kick, which is like a kickoff. Free kick meaning there is no rush.
Right.
It's an unimpeded play. So, yeah, I'm sure that rule has been discussed with them several times. It just wasn't remembered in the heat of the moment.
Do you remember when Josh Miller had a free kick and it was after a safety and he shanked it, and Bill Carr was screaming at him as he was coming off the way. He goes, "What will you do? What happened?" And he said it was a bad snap.
All right, moving on. Stephen Ridley, guys, is he in the doghouse after the fumble? We saw him then standing on the sidelines, and Jalen Samuels, the rookie who we've really only seen on special teams here and there, he was the guy getting to fill in for James Conner when he needed a break.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, Missy, what happens in the NFL is a rookie will get his chance because a veteran screws up, and this is video of Stephen Ridley screwing up. I mean, I really think that Mike Tomlin was not going to tolerate foolish turnovers in this game after what happened in the game in Cleveland. And so once Ridley lost the ball, then Jalen Samuels got the opportunity. He carried 4 times for 17 yards, protected the football. So to me, it's going to be extremely interesting to see the next situation when James Conner needs a break, who goes into the game.
You know what? Initially, I thought that on that play that Ridley got hurt. He got up a little bit slow. The ball kind of hung up there for a little bit, and so when he finally caught it, he was slow in tucking it, and that's how Kindred got stripped it away from him. And I just think that, Jalen Samuels had an opportunity, and I think, as you pointed out, Labs, Coach Tomlin probably wanted to see the rook and how he responded. I'm not sure Calvin Ridley is in the doghouse, or whether he is or he isn't, he's going to stay that way. I expect to see him come out and maybe even next week and get a couple reps. One of the things you got to give Cleveland credit for, they do a great job of stripping the ball. It's not by accident that they lead the league in takeaways. And what do they have now? 23, counting the two.
Yeah, they had 20 coming into the game.
22.
So, yeah. All right, another question is Artie Burns in the doghouse. We did not see him yesterday. Usually he was switching back and forth with Cody Sensabaugh. Yesterday it was all Cody Sensabaugh until he got hurt, and then it was Cam Sutton.
Yeah, Artie Burns only played special teams. There was a Twitter report. I hesitate to use report when I'm talking about Twitter, that Artie Burns was late for a walkthrough. I don't know whether that is true or not, but that would explain the way things unfolded on Sunday, because Mike Tomlin seemed to be indicating that he wanted Artie Burns to continue to try and work himself through these issues he's having as a cornerback. He compared his situation now, Artie Burns' situation now, to Ike Taylor's situation in 2007 after Bill Cowher benched him during the 2006 season. Artie Burns is the #1 pick. I mean, I just don't think that you give up on the guy without there being something beyond the norm. And so, and just to go back to what Tunch said, I would be much more willing to believe that Artie Burns will get another chance before Stephen Ridley, just because of who they each are.
All right, Tunch, I want to very quickly give you an O-line question before we have to head to Chalk Talk. Matt Filer now 2-0 as the Steelers' right tackle, filling in for Marcus Gilbert. How did he do yesterday?
Matt did great. He is very, very physical. I heard this from some of the guys, that he's the strongest guy on the team. And when you walk by him, man, he is a giant of a man, and he is using his hands really well. And he's one of those mauler, brawler types, and you love to watch him play. He did a great job yesterday. And, you're excited to have Marcus Gilbert back. But with Gilbert hurt, you're not going, oh, no, we got Matt Filer. You're going, okay, Matty does a really good job, and we're going to go ahead and play with him. Now, will Marcus come back? I hope so, because Marcus is is a Pro Bowl caliber player. But Matt Filer is a pretty darn good offensive tackle.
All right, Labs, thanks for joining us today here on Steelers Live. Tunch, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, he's heading to the Telestrator for Chalk Talk. All right, we are at the Telestrator for this Monday's edition of Chalk Talk. And Tunch, are you going all offense today?
I am. You got to. I mean, because you look at Cleveland's defense, the pass rush, the linebackers, and the way the Steelers got after them. Yeah, I got to draw them. I got to give my offensive line again.
Of course.
All right, the first one is AB's touchdown. And what I love about this looks a lot like the play that they ran in Cincinnati. A little different, though. He's going to come in motion, and he's going to catch the ball right here. Juju is going to block the slot corner, and Justin Hunter is going to block the other corner. And watch what they turn them out, and there is a nice gap right here. Now, the offensive line, they're going to run like a sprint left protection, and watch Demarius Randall. Demarius Randall comes up, knows the play's coming. You can tell he studied film, and he almost makes the play, but not quite. So we'll at the motion. Now watch, he stops right there. The ball's thrown. Now look, there's Demarius Randall, and he is almost right. The ball goes right between his hands. It hits AB. Now look at that beautiful gap that is right there for AB. It is a walk-in. Go ahead and AB take it to the end zone. Now we're going to take a look at it from the end zone. and you're going to see how close Demarius Randall. Here's Demarius Randall. And right now, see how he's looking this way? So he sees it coming. So is Kirksey. Now, great job by Big Al. We're going to come this way, come this way. Everyone's coming down this way. You're going to watch the offensive line. It's like I said, sprint left protection, but not quite. And at the snap of the ball, great job. Watch that. The ball went right between his. And now look at the reaction after he sees the touchdown. Look at him. He is going crazy. Demarius Randall is not in a good play. All right, now this play is the 37 trap. Now what we're going to do, it's going to be a down block. There's going to be a great block between Juju and Jesse. David DeCastro is going to pull, and he's going to kick out Myles Garrett, and it's going to be a nice play. Watch the way this thing develops. I love the way Juju stops. You know, Juju can block, and he stops right between Big Al and Jesse James. So they're going to do a great job of sealing this wall off right here. And nice block and nice little gap. Now watch that spinorama. That is great. He looks like he's the curly shuffle. Whoop, whoop, and then he's off to the races. And we're going to take a look at this from the end zone. They ran 36 and 37 trap all day long. And right now, we're seeing it's against the stack 4-3. There's the middle linebacker. There's Kirksey, and Kindred comes up, and he is the 8th guy in the box. And great job by block by here. Let Jesse or Juju get in there. Jesse, see, they've got 3 guys right here. This play should be dead, but watch the way these guys seal off the side. And then there's just one guy for James to beat. And this is a classic case of a great. Kindred is a good tackler. He's a strong safety. Watch this spin move, and that's what you love about James Conner. If it's just one guy, he's going to beat him. And that was against the stack 4-3. Everybody in the middle. We're going to now watch this against. Again, this time it's going to go the other way. This is called a 4-3 shade. And on this play, you're going to get down block here, down block here, down block here, and now Big Ramon's going to pull out, and he's going to log Emmanuel Ogbah. And we're going to take a look at this. It's great. They're coming with a blitz, and great adjustment by Jesse by picking up the blitz. And let's take a look. And he just goes to the outside. Great physical running. Now, you love that. That's what I love about James Conner. Now, we're going to take a look at it. Watch the adjustment he makes right here. Jesse James will. And he's going to come here, back block, pull out, and he's going to cut block. Let's take a look. And at the snap of the ball, a little shift. Great job. That's a great job. Look at the way they build this wall. Big Al, he's lucky that's not a chop block because Marquise is engaged with Myles Garrett, and Big Al is at his knees. In the old days, we used to do that all the time. We didn't care. But now you can't get away with it, but Big Al did. And now he's off to the races. All right, there's going to be one more 37 trap. Now, this is against the Bear defense. One of the things you're going to see is the Bear is normally these defensive ends or tackles, they go inside more. They're just inside shade on the thing. But now, once again, block, down block, down block. He's going to block Emmanuel, or he's going to block Ogunjobi. And we're going to watch the same thing. 37 trap. Nicely done. And he is off to the races. We'll take a look at the end zone version of this. All right, right now, Al does a nice job of sealing the defensive end to this side. You're going to see this is what we call read block. It's going to be a double team, but then he's going to block to the backside. Matt Filer is going to try to block here, and then you're going to see David DeCastro pull. And at the snap of the ball, great job. You've got the seal here. You've got a seal there and block right here. Now, David DeCastro, watch Myles Garrett. Now, he's normally a good player, but he almost just gives himself up. He just stopped. And maybe that's just when you run the ball like the Steelers ran the ball in the Cleveland Browns, those guys get tired. And Myles Garrett looked like he just he gave up on that play, and then James got a touchdown out of it.
And after the game, Myles Garrett said he didn't really like the defensive plan, thought they did too much, should have stuck to what worked week 1. So I think maybe that was just...
Yeah, you know what? It's easy to blame the coaches.
All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. For Tunch, Ilkin, and Bob Labriola, I'm Missi Matthews. Thanks so much for joining us. Coach Tomlin's press conference tomorrow on Tuesday will be at approximately 1 p.m., and you can watch it right here. Have a great night, everybody.